La discussion, tu vas l'avoir maintenant, c'est maintenant. Tu pourras juste vérifier que le son rentre bien de ton côté? Tu peux vérifier que le son rentre bien et que tu as bien le son?
Ouais, c'est pas d'accord. C'est pas...
Okej. Man borde skicka dem en printscreen av vad vi ser. De har typ lagt en telefon face ner på så att de kan feeda in ljudet. Och så tittar jag in i hans näsa.
Okay, good to go? Okay, good to go. Can you hear me now, Ahmed?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear him yet.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you. Speak up.
I'm hearing you perfectly loud and clear. I can hear you well.
Yeah, you can hear me. Now I gotta hear your voice.
You don't hear my voice. I'll just keep talking until you hear it. I'll just talk and say hello, how are you? All is well. Peace in the Middle East. May we all get together. Kumbaya. You still don't hear me. He does not hear us. We hear him. Whoa!
No?
No, I can't hear them.
But switch over again. I can hear you. You can't hear me. How about you put on the sound on the telephone?
They're all showing off. All mics.
No, it's on. If it was off, it will be red.
Okay, I can hear you now.
You can hear me now? Yeah. I don't know what they just did, but now you're... I can't hear you. I don't know what they did, but now they took you away. So it's when they did it before, I could hear you, and I was seeing you through the phone. Hey, take out the cable out of the phone. Now I can hear you. Say something. No, not anymore. When they were pushing,
You can't hear him.
I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Should I just call you on the phone and you can stream the video like this? Who says we need to do audio and video in the same thing, right? Let's stream the video from here and I'll put the earpiece in my ear and we'll just do a phone call for them to take in the sound through phone. I can hear something now, but it's background noise.
He just got background noise now.
Do we have another... Est-ce qu'on a un autre reflux? Il reflux, est-ce qu'il écouterait d'un truc et qu'il Sorry, I tried to find a solution.
Excuse one more.
No, you can hear him, but you can't hear him.
You can hear me. You can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
But
he doesn't hear you.
He does hear me.
So there's no problem.
Okay, so let's go.
We're good?
Yeah, we're good to go. All right.
And look at the camera there.
Okay, sorry for this. Right, let's keep it short. We're taking too much of your time.
We're good. We're live, people, or live-ish. Something. I don't know what we're doing.
You just look to the camera, and I've got the other camera here as well.
Oh, wonderful.
Recording? Okay, we're good. Emma, why did you decide to do this project?
Because we were tired of standing idly by when people were dying unnecessarily. And being an entrepreneur, we're solution-oriented people, and we want to try to contribute in any way we can.
Why do you think governments just couldn't get their act together on this?
I think that governments have much longer decision periods that they need to go through and processes, and being an entrepreneur and being from the private sector, you can act much quicker. And hopefully that can also speed up the political process by showing how many people feel that this is an important issue.
If you were given control of the migration crisis, what would you do differently?
I would actually work very hard to stop the flow of migration by going to the source of the issue, honestly, if I had that political power. Because there's a lot of people that are fleeing and dying, and necessarily the migration is just a secondary effect.
From a business perspective, if you take the emotional side out of this and you have to organize the logistics of it, how would you plan it?
If you fully do this on a pure business sentiment, there is still a viable market. There's at least 12 million people that are fleeing their homes from Syria. A large portion of those would be able to pay for their airplane ticket and still pay a top-up fee, like an insurance, to carry any carrier liability that there might be. So even if you put all the emotions out of it, this could be a viable business option. But, however, that is not what we're doing, just to be clear.
Okay, we have 160,000 proposed by Jean-Claude Juncker, President of the European Commission, in terms of refugees which should be accepted and settled within Europe. But really the number is much bigger than that. It's upwards of 2 million. How do you manage that number of people coming into Europe? What would you do?
So long term, we can't have all the people from conflict zones coming into Europe. That is not a feasible strategy. What we need to have is, distinct quotas that everyone can respect, but also we need to do much more of helping stemming the flow of migration from the source, working with UNHCR so people don't have to leave their camps in Jordan or Lebanon because there's not enough food, there's not enough opportunity. So you need to do a dual track solution on this. It's not a one track thing.
Okay, Europe would seem to have the capacity to deal with this problem if it was a coordinated response. If this was a business like Amazon, for example, having to deal with logistical issues, do you think they would approach this in a different way?
Of course. I mean, if all of Europe was one corporation, the head of state or here, the CEO, would just put in the quotas, distribute them based on an algorithm that is, how many people are within the country and how much money they have, and also what systems are currently in place. And then they would also invest in the neighboring countries like Lebanon and Jordan and Turkey to stem the flow of migration from there. And then finally, they would do a hostile takeover of Syria and stop them killing their own people.
How do you think the political process can change? What lessons can it learn from business?
I think we need to, as Europeans, be comfortable with the fact that we are one union and have trust in each other's judgment when it comes to face these crises. We need to be a true union in the sense that we understand that our fates are tied not only just with each other, but with neighboring countries around us. It's a mindset question about relinquishing control, and that can only come through trust. So there needs to be more trust building between the nations within the European Union for us to be able to achieve this.
If you treat the citizens essentially as customers, as consumers to the European project in this, and they don't trust the European brand or the leadership that's currently managing the situation, how do you solve those problems in terms of branding, in terms of leadership? What does the message need to be?
So they need to work on showing concrete wins. I mean, we've been part of the European Union. Sweden has for a long time and is a strong supporter. But we have never been communicated what the actual benefits have been in terms of quantifiable wins that the European Union has achieved. And these are many if you look at how we have increased trade between the nations that are within our own borders to how we've influenced other countries around the world. I think the European Union leadership needs to be better at actually discussing what wins they have achieved so they can build trust with their consumers, which is us, the citizens. So brag a bit more about your achievements.
Okay, if you talk in terms of vision for a company and what it has to achieve, what should the vision for Europe at this point be?
I think the vision of Europe should be that it is the beacon of freedom and hope in the world. And I think that's something that everyone around us can gather around. And the United States of America has had a monopoly on that type of discourse for a long period of time. But if you look at our social liberties and the economic liberties that you have here in Europe, many of the European countries supersede that example that was set by the US. So we need to be able to show leadership that we are an innovative and free force in the world.
Okay, there are different types of leaders for different types of moment in history and in the history of a company as well. What kind of leadership does Europe need now?
It needs a visionary, strong leader that can gather the countries around us. And we are not seeing, at least, that being brought to the citizens in any other capacity than Angela Merkel, to be honest. She's the one that has really stepped up on a true European level as a global thought leader and put her stake in the ground and told everyone where she is. And I think I commend her for it.
Okay, just finally, on Refugee Air in particular, it's clear that you have very practical objectives as well, but in political impact, what do you think Refugee Air will accomplish in terms of impacting the political process?
We have already created a discussion here in our native Sweden where all the airlines have gone together and asked for the government to relinquish the carrier responsibility. So we're starting a discussion, and we reached over 300 million people in only 10 days. So I think the politicians that might have seen this as being a fringe concern kind of sees that this is an important issue going forward, and it supersedes the current crisis that we have in Syria. This will be applicable to any type of conflict in the future, may it be in the Central African continent or may it be in Asia. Being able to fly out of conflict zones without having the risk of dying on the way or losing all your belongings on the way is a humanitarian question that we need to address.
Do you think that the entrepreneurial approach that we're now seeing with Refugee Air will translate into other grassroots and entrepreneurial projects in areas like youth unemployment, for example?
Yes, I do. I have friends here in Sweden that have social ventures tackling that same issue. We have people around here in Sweden that are working with integration questions, what happens after the migrants come to Sweden, up until healthcare and buddy programs. I think everyone should understand that just sitting idly by is the worst type of response to a humanitarian crisis or to a social crisis. We cannot think that the governments will solve all our problems for ourselves. There's a lot of innovation, there's a lot of resources in the private space, and let us try to help each other be better people.
Perfect. Emma, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your patience today also.
No worries. Thank you very much. How will we get this footage so we know what's going on after this?
Tomorrow we will finish the short documentary that we're doing, and it will go to social media on Wednesday, probably around lunchtime. Then the audio edits from this will go to the network tomorrow night, and the network partners will use it as they please. On Wednesday they'll have access to the video content as well, and then the social media team will start to promote it across the network. So you'll see it in different translations as well. So from that, tomorrow on Wednesday I will start sending you the links. You can expect to be tagged by the social media team from probably Wednesday evening onwards as well. And it'll go to the MEPs and the commissioner that's taking part in the program, so they will all be included with your hashtag and with your social media content as well. So it'll go directly to the MEPs and the European Commission as well. Okay?
Wonderful. Thank you very much. You'll stay in touch with the team, I guess, if you need anything else.
It's a project. Really admire it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Cheers. Bye.